Good evening. Two questions. One is that I would like you to go through the timeline in a little more detailed manner from the point of view of the potential investor in EB5. From the time the amount is sent, let's say $500,000, from the time that is given and various key points like when you get the, when do you start the business and when do you get the green card and then the citizenship. That's one. Number two, are there any restrictions in terms of the age of the investor and the type of businesses that are permitted under EB5? These are the two queries I have.
So I'll answer the two questions.
Sure.
The first question was the actual timeline of the investment, correct? Correct. Okay. So the timeline is from most of our projects are ready to go. So you're not waiting for the project to start. Okay. So they're ready to go. So for example, the Houston project or the Dallas project are already in the works. So what will happen is after you invest the money, it'll take you approximately 18 months or 2 years to get your approval for a green card. And after that, after you get your green card, then it'll take you another 3 years to get your investment back. Okay, and then after 2 more years, you get your permanent citizenship in the U.S. So that's a typical timeline.
That's around 7 years you're talking.
Yeah, so approximately between 5 to 7 years.
Okay.
But 2 years you get your approval for your green card. Now, in terms of age requirement, that was the second question. Did I answer your first question?
Yes.
In between, suppose if he is starting investing right away and if all the papers are clear, then he will be given a temporary immigration visa to go to university.
Yeah, so what happens is as soon as you're approved by the immigration service, you get a temporary approval on your passport.
Okay.
So then you are allowed to work in the US as soon as you get a temporary approval. But your actual green card will take about 2 years to come. Okay. Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
I want to make sure I'm completely answering. So the second part of the question was, is there an age requirement? The answer is no. But what happens is if you're sponsoring children with you as a family, for example, each visa is for a family. Okay, so if your children are minors, they automatically get the visa with you, right? If the children are about 21, then you have to file a separate visa application for them. That's the only difference for age. But otherwise, there's no age restriction.
And similarly for the kind of profession or the kind of investment that you can make under EB5, is there any preferences or restrictions?
So you can, our thing is only real estate. So you can invest in a call center, for example, right, and create jobs. But our investment is only real estate. So that's really what we are very knowledgeable about.
Okay. Thank you.
This temporary approval, you are just telling, how early you will get it or how long it will be used?
Can you speak out?
So the answer is, I'll repeat his question. His question is, how long will the temporary approval take?
For getting the temporary approval.
For getting approval.
And
So
how long you can use the temporary approval?
Oh, okay. The temporary approval, okay, so the question is, how long will the temporary approval take and how long you can use the temporary approval? Is that right? So the first question, the temporary approval, we have gotten it in as little as 4 months, but we normally say that it takes anywhere from 6 to 9 months to get the first temporary approval. And how long the temporary approval lasts? Once you have the temporary approval, it's only a matter of process. We think it takes us a total of 2 years from day one to get the permanent approval.
So up to such time you can work there?
Yes, you can work. As soon as you get the temporary approval, you can start working.
That's
Start working and they can, in a way they can come back and go.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
every 6 months.
Sir, 55% return, you said is the mouth-watering proposal. But for a man like me, 70 plus, I would like to know whether we can invest the money with you without bothering to come to US. That's question number one. Number two is, you are speaking about the Chinese foreclosing every opportunity like this 90% or 100% falling. I feel very uncomfortable about that because by sheer numbers, I think they will grow faster in the US, and their ethos will not be as good or as welcoming as the US at the present time. And also, more fears I have about this lady Hillary Clinton coming to power, and alteration of situations also may pose some problem. I would like to have your views first about opportunity for us to invest through people like you, in whom we have good trust and confidence.
So you asked three different questions. The first question was, so you asked three different questions. I'll repeat the questions. The first question was, if we are not investing for immigration, can we still invest because of the returns that we have? That's the first question. The second question that you had was you're uncomfortable about the Chinese investors because you're not comfortable about the ethos. And the third question was you're worried about Hillary Clinton, right? So okay, I'll take the first question. Is that the answer is yes, you can invest directly. So EB5 is not EB5 investment is not for returns. Okay, it's the EB5 money is only to get permanent residence. I just want to make it very clear. You can also put in extra money into any of our deals and be part of that transaction, if you will. And yes, you're more than happy, welcome to do that. And Shetty will guide you through that investment. I'm not. Forgive me. I'm not an expert. Therefore, we have experts here in terms of how to invest, take money and put investment.
Right. In between, sorry to
Sure, no.
Mr. Raju, whether it is possible an Indian, apart from EB5 programs, are allowed to invest outside projects? Yes, please. Or you want to make?
No. Mr. Shekhar, Mr. Shetty, senior members, ladies and gentlemen, very good evening, friends. I'll just take a few minutes to share my thoughts, especially on the regulatory part of transferring money out of India. This is a very nice evening. They have brought out a very excellent proposal to us here. I'll just take you through what is the regulatory part with respect to the Reserve Bank of India's guidelines. Number one, there is a scheme which has been brought out way back in 2004 itself, 11 years back by Reserve Bank. That scheme is exclusively for resident individuals. The name of the scheme is called Liberalized Remittance Scheme. At the time when the scheme came, it was only allowed to remit 25,000 US dollars. Today, the limit is 10 times. It is 2.5 lakhs US dollars. It has seen ups as well as downs as well as ups. Way back in 2007, the 25,000 US dollars liberalized remittance scheme was increased up to 2 lakh US dollars. And in 2013, when there was a fall of the exchange prices, the LRS was restricted from 2 lakh US dollars to 75,000 US dollars. Last year, in 2014, it was increased again from 75,000 to 1 lakh 25. Last month, that was only in February, the government is open enough to double the 1 lakh 25,000 US dollars to 2 lakh 50. Here the requirement with respect to EB5 visa is 5 lakh US dollars. Meaning, in a year, single person can only remit 2.5 lakh US dollars. Meaning, a family, husband and wife, or brothers, two brothers, or father and son, they can remit together. That means a consolidated remittance by the family members are allowed. I repeat, consolidated remittances by family members are allowed. Now coming to the procedures. If we take the today's rate, it is 62.27 today's rate. When I multiply with 2.5 lakh US dollars, it is 1.55 crores. And the sum which we are contemplating today, discussing, is 3.10 crores. 5 lakh US dollars is 3.10 crores in Indian rupees at today's prices. Now, what are the conditions for, or what are the procedure to remit money outside India? The first condition is people should have a PAN number. Number 2, there is a application letter come declaration. Who is the remitter? Who is the beneficiary? And to which bank account it will be sent? Are we going to remit it through electronic transfer, or are we going to remit it through DD? Will it be transfer from my account in India to my account in US, or will it be transfer from my account in India to the beneficiary's account? Technically, we are all investors and they are developers, and between investors and developers, US government is there. And when you seek the EB5 route investment, the money which investors will be sending to developer will not reach a developer until the I-526 is approved. What is I-526? That Mr. Shetty was mentioning about the temporary visa, temporary part of it. Of course, all of us who don't have a green card, meaning we are only having temporary visas. I-526 application, until it has been approved, the money will not go to the developer. I repeat, until I-526 is approved, the money will not go to the developer. Meaning, from the investors, money will lie only with the banker and banker's escrow account. I repeat, it will be only with the escrow account. And naturally, our next question will be, will that escrow account will yield interest? Again, it depends on the investor and developer. If developer is willing to give us interest, it is possible, because they cannot give interest for the time which the money is with the escrow account. Only when the money is received by the developer, their promises will start to accrue. So that is one angle. And the market rate of interest rate in US is 0.5% per annum and maximum to 3% per annum. If at all there is an interest, this will be the interest that is possible in an escrow account. Very important when the funds are remitted outside India. We need to first have, especially investors. Let me take an example. An husband and wife, on behalf of the family, the husband wants to invest $500,000 US. So the wife is remitting $2.5 million US and husband is remitting 2.5. So put together 5. Individually, husband has to, his bank, his financial status has to satisfy, as well as wife's financial credibility also has to satisfy. What is the condition? Condition is, in that particular bank, they should have maintained the bank account for at least 1 year. Point number 2, the banker will go through the bank statement whether the particular client investor is really worth enough to remit 2.5 million US dollar, meaning 1.55 crores as on date. That means the bank balance should be 1.55 crores to transfer. Let me assume that there is no bank account. I am only opening the bank account today. Is it possible for me to remit that much money, 3.10 crore consolidated as my family transfer? Is it possible? Yes, it is possible, provided the bank will do a unique, separate, independent due diligence with respect to opening of bank account, with respect to operation, with respect to maintenance. Meaning, They'll ask for the latest income tax returns and also the past 2 or 3 income tax returns. The other assets and liability statement, balance sheet, certified by the chartered accountant. All this will be processed. So if at all the bank account doesn't have sufficient funds, externally what is the worth of the particular investor will be assessed, and how the source will be brought by the particular investor. For example, he has some assets, he has some shares, he has some property, he sells the shares, he sells the property. That money he pulls into that bank and he remains outside India. So all this due diligence will be done by the respective banker. Another interesting question that will come to your mind is, okay, I don't want to liquidate my asset, I will pledge my asset, I will mortgage my asset, take a loan on that asset, and that loan, say I have a property worth 5 crores and on that 60% I take a loan which is 3 crores, and the 3 crores on the mortgaged asset I remit it outside India through the liberalized remittance scheme. Technically it is seems to be feasible. My property, my money I am remitting outside India, but bankers are advised not to lend exclusively for the LRS schemes. So this binding, give a loan, take the money, because it's the bank's money is ultimately sent out. So this will not be entertained by the banker. How it has to be done, unless and otherwise the investors are otherwise sound, then only the scheme will be possible. Coming to the question which was asked, other than EB5 investment, can the investor, as an investor, can I directly invest in companies? Why not? We can invest in any company, mutual funds, shares, listed, unlisted, partnership firms, meaning that it's LLP or LLC, and even what you call sole proprietor companies. We are the investors willingly can invest outside India. We can also we can also remit our money through this LRS scheme, even as a gift to our family members, for travel purposes, donation, for any temple construction. Today we have even Hindu temples constructed abroad. For that purposes also through LRS we can remit money outside India. So I think I'll be brief enough with this.
What US tax?
Sir, tax will come only when there is an income. So far we have only invested. When there is an accrual, when there is an yield, for example, out of this $5 million US, let us assume there is a 20% return, there is a 20% interest or a 20% dividend. Meaning I get 1 lakh US dollars as a return. This 1 lakh US dollars is taxable in India. I repeat. For example, you are investing as equity. You are investing as equity, you get dividend from the foreign company. Dividend from Indian company is only exempt. Dividend from foreign company is taxable. I repeat, it is taxable at your normal slab rate of 10, 20, 30%. There is only one exceptional concessional tax rate is there, provided Indian company has invested 26% in that company, the foreign company, more than 26% and above, then when we receive the dividend from such foreign companies, the concessional tax rate will be 15%. That's the only exception. So in this case, ENCORE enterprises will not be eligible for that concessional tax rate. It will be 30%. Whether it is dividend or whether it is interest. Yes, sir.
As an individual,
Sir,
as an individual man, I just want to give you to one of my best friends who, not in US.
எனக்கு கேட்குது சார், அவங்களுக்கும் கேட்குது. Please.
As an individual man from India, I just want to gift some land or some apartment to my, so that my friend in US can benefit in the near future. So, is it possible? How it has to be done? all the process?
It's a good question, please.
In letter writing or anything like we are registering our land and building with the registration authority and other. Can you kindly?
Please. You have a property here, you want to gift it to your relative. If you are gifting it to a relative, blood relations, absolutely no issues. There is no restriction under FEMA, no restriction in Reserve Bank of India. You can gift it to your, for example, you want to gift it to a son, you want to gift it to a daughter, it is possible. But if you are gifting it to a non-relative, then we need, if you are gifting it to a non-relative, non-relative, meaning your friend abroad, so out of your affection, friend's son you want to gift, then you need to intimate, you need to inform the Reserve Bank of India. There is no need for a prior permission or prior approval. Post transfer, you have to inform. Within 30 days, there is a separate form under which you have to inform to the authorized dealer itself. He will consolidate and he will inform to the Reserve Bank.
In the form of asset also we can gift, sir. Suppose building is there, we can gift that building itself.
Yeah, you can give the property.
Not necessary to make it a currency and then gifting it. As an asset you can gift it, isn't it?
Yeah. Property is here.
Yeah.
You are gifting it to a relative.
Yeah.
If you are gifting it to a relative, no issues. If you are gifting it to a non-relative, you have to inform.
From RBI.
If you are gifting it to a foreign national, for example, there is an Indian who has gone there, he has settled there. There is a difference between foreign national and a person who is born in India and settled there. So there are two. If he is a foreign national to whom you are gifting, then you need to ask prior permission, then only you can gift it. Yeah. If it is to an Indian who is born here, settled there, meaning non-resident Indian, no need for a prior permission. You have to only inform, even poster.
So one more
To
question,
whom
sir.
I should inform, sir?
To the Reserve Bank through the authorized dealer.
To Reserve Bank or to that individual relation?
Anyhow, he is benefiting. You have to only inform the Reserve Bank.
One more question, sir. Regarding investment, you told if you are maintaining an account for the past 6 months,
1 year.
1 year, right? That is enough.
Provided they will go through the bank statement.
Okay.
You have a bank, you have opened a bank, say in 2014 January itself, is almost 1 year.
Okay.
But hardly you have done any transaction.
Okay.
And you want to remit 1.55 crores today.
Mhm.
Then what is the locus standi of remittance? So that they will go through the bank statement, nothing is there. So next is they will do a due diligence. They'll ask you a net worth certificate, certified by chartered accountant, income tax returns, your source, from where is the money? No, I have an FD, I have fixed deposit, I have interest, money on that I liquidate and I will remit. So they will do the due diligence, then only the possibilities.
But I have not submitted any IT returns. But during that period, I invested by selling some property. So what way you can just...
Very interesting question. You sell a property, you have not been an income tax assessee. Naturally, a quantum of 3.1 crores will definitely yield capital gains. You are coming under the tax bracket. So necessarily, the banker will insist on payment of capital gain taxes. So, no, I have time till July 31st to file my return. No issues. You file the return late, but show me the tax paid challan. Based on the tax paid challan, for example, you sell the property for 5 crores. 20% is capital gain, so 4 crores. So 1 crore we have to pay tax, show the challan. Out of 4 crore, remit 3.1 crore outside India. Possible. Banker will do.
Thank
Sir, another question, sir.
Please.
My friend who is in US, Latam, near in New York, he has been staying there for the past 25 years. But he is having some house here. He just want to sell those house. And how you can take the money back?
Very
For
simple.
his daughter's wedding, he has 2 daughters.
We have a separate guideline issued by Reserve Bank with respect to transfer of immovable property by foreign nationals or non-resident individuals settled there, but they have property here. When they are selling the property, when they are remitting abroad, banker will insist on 2 things. One, why you are remitting abroad? Why you are remitting abroad? Meaning I am not staying here, I am not a resident here, I don't have any business transactions here, I don't work here. Second, that means I have all my credentials in US. Second, what is the tax liability exposed as that liability has been paid? Return filing can be delayed, but tax remittances has to be done early. If you want to remit abroad, want to repatriate abroad, without tax payment challenge, banker will not remit abroad.
Thank you. Back on EB5,
Yeah.
so maybe to Shetty. When the remittance is given, you said that the investment has to generate employment, right? So how is that assured by, in the system that you are proposing?
Excellent question. By the way, thank you, Gopal. This is a very nice presentation. I appreciate it.
It's very elaborate.
Very elaborate and very detailed. Thank you. So typically what happens, every project that we give is first approved by the Immigration Service as eligible for EB5 investment. We cannot take EB5 money until the business plan is approved by the immigration authorities. So they already have, we get the approval from them, we prove that the jobs we created, and that only then, as Shekhar pointed out, we are highly regulated. So everything has to be regulated, and we have to make some filings with the Immigration Service, filings with the FINRA, which is the regulatory authority, to show them that these jobs are being created. And we also have to support the business plan with an economic analysis showing how the jobs are going to be created. And we use a third-party economic consultant to do that.
Thank you.
I want to go back to the other 2 questions you had, which is about the Chinese investors coming into, and then Hillary Clinton. I can't comment on Hillary Clinton because I don't control that. Besides, I also don't like her, but that's a different story. But so the second question about numbers, so we are talking only about 3,500 visas a year going to families right now. The total EB5 quota is 10,000. The number of Chinese and Indian students in the US is thousands right now. So I don't think the EB5 is going to make a difference to the immigration patterns in the US. Meaning that if you look at the graduate programs in American universities today, if you go to any school in the country, if you go to the Masters of Engineering, Masters of Computer Science, PhD programs, etc., the large percentage of students are either from China or from India. That's so I don't think that is going to change very much in terms of how the thing is perceived.
No, I raised this question to Shetty because I lived in US for nearly 18 months in 3 separate slots of 6 months each. First in 2000 and second in 2010 and 11. I happened to travel from, say, Fremont, San Jose to Las Vegas and then the Grand Canyon and all that, visiting a park called So Bay. My travel bus consisted in a total passenger lift of about 60. About 40 or 45 were Chinese. And the guide first spoke in Chinese, entertaining them about the area, the sights to be seen and everything. And the restaurants he booked, for us, first preference was given to Chinese restaurants.